I don't believe in fate. And I don't trust intuition, unless it follows close observation, the features of the case, the people involved. Then I might try feeling my way through the evidence, never losing sight of the facts.
Hello? Mum? It's me. Are you there? I'm in trouble. Been arrested. I'm in a police station in Oxford. Please help me. They said this is my only chance to use the phone, so I'd better just tell you. I found the bastard. Got a job in his college. I thought it was all going to work out okay, but then something happened. It was just a few days ago. Friday, I think. Friday night. I was working in the college.
Haven't you finished our table yet?
I couldn't find the forks.
Oh, for heaven's sake. What's your name again?
It's Annie.
Right then, Annie. I'll fetch the forks, you put out the glasses, and get a move on. They'll be coming out of chapel in a minute. For God's sake.
Morse, In the Shallows, based on the characters created by Colin Dexter. Story by Alma Cullen, adapted by Richard Stoneman.
Are you awake?
Morse? What?
I thought you'd fallen asleep.
No, I'm listening.
Ah, do you know this piece?
Dr. Hingley, will you be quiet?
Sorry. Oh dear, naughty me.
Shh. No, they were very good. I'm not saying...
But not as good as Christchurch. Is that what you think?
It's subjective, of course.
Well, of course, Morse. De gustibus non est disputandum. Or perhaps you've forgotten.
Concerning taste, there can be no dispute. Yes, I remember.
Probably no dispute concerning the food tonight. It'll be delicious.
It's kind of you to invite me.
Don't be silly. You're only here so I can beat you at chess and go to bed feeling smug.
Don't you always go to bed feeling smug?
Now, why does that sound like you're criticising?
It wasn't.
Oh, you think I've got it easy, living this privileged existence, swanning around this beautiful quad...
Jessica, honestly, I wasn't trying to say anything.
I know exactly what you're trying to say, Morse. And you've managed to say it with crystal clarity. Now, stop frowning and let's have a drink before we go through it.
I'm told they'll be ready for us in 2 minutes, Master. So may I suggest we all drain our Finos and Amonteados?
Yes, thank you, Anthony.
I'll start to chivvy the masses. I see you're not wearing a gown, Mr.
Morse, and it's Chief Inspector, not Mr.
Our policeman.
Anthony Yateman is our admissions tutor, Morse. I'm afraid he's a stickler for detail when it comes to things like gowns.
I'm not going to apologise for trying to maintain the traditions of our college.
Well, I didn't actually graduate from this or any other college, so I don't have a gown.
Yes, really, Jessica. The guests you invite to our feasts...
I do know how to hold a knife and fork, if that's what you're worried about.
Well, it's more the level of conversation that concerns me. The master likes to maintain a certain standard of intellectual discourse.
I'll do my very best to understand what you're saying. I might even try to join in, if that's all right with you, Mr. Yateman.
I doubt we'll be talking about anything that might interest a police officer. We rarely discuss football. Darts. Ready when you are, Master.
Yes, very good, Anthony.
Oh, I'm so sorry. He's such an unbearable snob.
Oh, don't worry, I've come across far worse. Oh. Now, can you just remind me, do I hold the knife in my right hand or my left?
Nutriti tibi debitum obsequium praestare valiamus per Christum Dominum nostrum.
are you doing, girl?
I'm serving the bread, sir.
You offer the basket. You don't just drop a roll on my plate.
I was only trying...
God, says no one told you how to do your job.
I'm sorry. Very sorry, sir.
Tears before the first course, that's good going, even for Yateman.
If there's one thing I hate more than a snob, it's a bully.
You come with me, dear. You can serve the undergrads. I'll look after the dogs.
I didn't think I was doing anything wrong.
Of course you didn't, dear. Now, you just make sure there's plenty of wine for the young ladies and gents, and if they start to throw their food around, you keep your head down.
You can catch it like a seal.
Gregson, for God's sake, Gregors, pass the bloody bottle before I die of thirst.
Will you look at the state of that slop? Coming in now with the beard. Spitting image of Jesus.
Wearing jeans on a feast night.
And he's late, Mr. Bloody Benedictus.
Earned himself a sconcing.
Absolutely.
Gregors, do a quick note and take it up to high table.
Yeah.
Oh, why can't you do it, Hansworth?
Because I can't remember the Latin. And you know what Yateman's like? One tiny mistake and he'll send it back.
Give me a bloody pen, then.
Here's your bloody pen.
All right, what am I writing?
I have to say, this wine's delicious.
Pace yourself, there's a different vintage with every course.
Port and brandy to follow.
Certainly.
I've often wondered why your fellows don't all end up as alcoholics.
Lots of them do, the rest just go mad. Or they're mad to begin with. Don't, whatever you do, get into conversation with the man sitting opposite the master. He's a theoretical physicist, might win a Nobel Prize this year, might be sectioned. Either way, he can't actually communicate with human beings.
And yet, he's supposed to teach undergraduates.
Oh, no, they don't let him near the students. He just does incomprehensible research and publishes unintelligible articles twice a year.
Do you think he realises that half his starter just went down the front of his shirt?
I'm sure he neither knows nor cares.
Magistry, rogo poena!
I thought we were stopping this nonsense.
Oh, but Master, it's such a vital piece of our collegiate history.
What's going on?
It seems that someone's broken the rules. Those two hearties want him sconced.
Want him what?
Didn't you have it at Lonsdale? That silver tankard in the middle of the table, they fill it with whiskey, wine and beer. The victim has to drink it all without moving the tankard away from his lips.
Sounds unpleasant, not to say dangerous.
There's always a lot of vomit, which is why the master has tried to stop this glorious tradition. Yateman, unfortunately, wants to keep it going, which is why he's signing off the Latin scripts here as we speak.
Sunt, Gregson?
If you really must continue with this foolishness, take it outside, will you?
Yes, Master. Grab the tankard, Gregors.
The ale?
And some whiskey, I should think.
Who's the sconce?
Evans, Master.
David Evans. Then no, this can't happen.
Too late, I think.
Go and stop it, Anthony, now.
As you wish, Master. I say, Mr. Unsworth, hang on a moment, will you? Get off him! What do you think you're doing? Stand up, horrid little creep.
I have in my hands a piece of paper.
Let go! You should always turn up on time for college feasts.
Now you're going to be sconced.
Oh, I'm sorry, chaps. The master's had a change of heart.
This man was late.
I know, but you can't sconce him in hall. Oh. Just take him outside, will you, so the master doesn't see.
What's going on? You okay, David?
Why don't you keep your long and misshapen nose out of this?
Why don't you sit down before I knock you down?
Hey, that's not how we talk in hall.
I've got the Magna Vitrum.
We fill this cup with wine, he drinks it.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't drink wine.
He does tonight.
I'm telling you, that's not going to happen.
How do you think you are, you shut roll?
Take your hands off.
Get out of our way.
This man is always...
I wonder if you should step in and arrest someone, Morse. Preferably the blonde boy, Unsworth, who's quite the most stupid undergrad I've ever tried to teach.
I'm off duty and I can't see anyone breaking the law.
They are being very aggressive.
If you're worried, call a bulldog. And could you top me up, please? This Chablis really is exceptional.
I'll set up the board. Can you find a bottle of something over there, by the window?
Oh, you still have some Talisker. Excellent. The master seemed upset. I tried to say goodnight.
Oh, he didn't like all the business with the Hearties and that poor little chap, Evans. David Evans. He's from Glasgow, completely out of his depth here.
Do you teach him?
No, but I've heard stories. The beard makes him look older, but he's only just turned 18, and I always think undergrads should take a year off, travel the world before they come up to Oxford.
Not everyone can afford a year off.
There are plenty of red brick universities that are perfect for impoverished, immature young students.
Careful, Jessica. You're beginning to sound elitist.
I'm not going to apologise for that. Pick a hand. Let's see what colour you are.
Left.
Black. Bad luck.
I didn't travel before I went up to Lonsdale.
Did you feel unprepared for Oxford?
No.
Never told me why you left before your finals.
No.
I think you'd have made a very good Don.
Me?
Oh, well, it's a wonderful life.
I'd rather do something useful.
Ouch.
I meant practical.
No, you didn't.
If you're happy here, great, but I need more of a challenge than trying to get students to understand Plato.
Actually, it's getting them to read Plato that's the challenge. I may have to leave this college.
Why?
If I can't get an associate professorship, they'll want me out by the end of Trinity term.
And if you do get an associate professorship?
Then I can move to better rooms, carry on enjoying the fabulous food, wonderful wines.
Crazy colleagues.
Well, at least they're interesting. Can you say that of any of the people you work with?
Some of them.
I'm seeing the master tomorrow. If he approves, I'll be allowed to present myself to the college committee in a couple of weeks. But I'm up against research fellows with more experience, more published articles, more prizes.
Does it help that you're a woman?
Oh, when does it ever help that I'm a woman?
What's going on?
What can you see?
I think it's the Hearties from the feast. I recognise the one with the blonde hair. Unsworth, was it?
Oh, God, they'll be off to the boathouse, I expect.
Why the boathouse?
They're all members of the college rowing crew. They like to take a boat out in the middle of the night and push each other into the river.
Sounds like a recipe for disaster.
They always survive, sadly. Are we going to finish this game? I think I'll have you this time.
Maybe. Maybe not. Another drink?
Are you trying to get me drunk, Morse?
Yes. How am I doing?
I worked really hard, Mum. You'd have laughed if you'd seen me. I didn't finish till 1 o'clock in the morning. Then I went to look for the bastard, but he wasn't in his room. So I thought I'd just wait another day. I thought there was plenty of time.
Where the hell have you been, Morse? Don't bother getting out of your car.
Good morning to you, sir.
Dead body. Possible murder. I was on my way to join Lewis in your absence.
I'm sorry if I'm a few minutes late.
You look terrible, Morse.
I was playing chess for most of the night.
Playing chess? A euphemism for on the piss?
I ended up analysing the logic of Wittgenstein.
Was that another euphemism?
Ludwig Wittgenstein, Austrian philosopher, wrote the Tractatus Logico-Philosophicus. I expect you're familiar with his work.
You'll be wanting to know where the body is.
Yes, sir.
Boathouses Walk. Male, 50-something, face down in the river, lying in the shallows.
Lovely.
Can you move those people right away from the scene, Constable?
Sarge.
And put some more tape round the trees. All the way to the gate over there.
Yes, Sarge.
Oh, morning, sir.
Morning.
I thought Superintendent Strange was on his way.
No, you have the joy of my company, Lewis.
That is a joy, sir. You feeling okay? You look a bit...
Never mind how I'm feeling. Where's the man who's no longer feeling anything? The corpse.
Oh, over here, sir. Do you want to take a look?
Of course I don't want to take a look. Are there any wounds? Any blood?
Nothing I could see, sir. Just a drowning, I reckon.
What's the pathologist say?
We haven't had one yet. Dr. Russell was supposed to turn up half an hour ago. Still waiting.
I'd better see for myself, then.
Just keep to your right, here. There's a few footprints in the mud, but they could be from the bloke who found the body.
The bloke?
Dog walker. It's always a dog walker, isn't it?
Did he touch the body?
Pulled it out of the water. Said the head was in the river face down. He could tell he was dead, so he didn't bother with a kiss of life. Just went to find a call box. Here he is, sir. Shall I move the blanket?
I suppose so.
Brace yourself.
Yateman.
Sorry?
I met this man last night. Anthony Yateman. He's a don at St. Joseph's.
That's right. We found his wallet. Had his library card, credit card.
Why didn't you tell me?
About the wallet?
That you knew his name.
I was getting round to that.
Anything else you haven't told me?
There are tyre tracks up by the boathouses. Someone was driving round this area last night.
Could the body, Yateman, could he have been pushed from a boat into the river, washed up over here?
Doubt it, sir. His shoes are dry, and his socks and trousers. Most likely, he either tripped and fell headfirst into the river, or
Someone held his head under the water until he was dead.
We'll have to wait to see what Dr. Russell says.
Yes. Have you looked inside the boathouse?
I wish one, sir. There's about 10 of them. Merton, Brasenose,
The St. Joseph's boathouse, Lewis. Obviously.
Stinks in here.
Careful, Lewis.
Looks like someone's at a party. It's half a dozen empties. Paul Roger. Is that the good stuff?
Paul Roger. It's certainly expensive.
Oh, puddle of sick. Oh, what's this? Blood?
Where?
There, sir. Oh, just a few drops, maybe.
Have it checked. Hello?
Sir?
What would you say about this, Lewis?
Oh, I don't know. Looks like fur or hair, is it?
I think someone's had a shave, Lewis. This used to be a beard.
You're being very mysterious, Chief Inspector.
Not really, Master. I just didn't want to talk in front of the porter.
But now we're alone, you can speak freely? Oh, please don't sit there, Sergeant.
Sorry.
That chair is for decoration only. It's a medieval Italian throne.
It's very nice.
Nice? Yes, I suppose it is.
We can stand, Lewis. We won't be here very long. I just thought, as a courtesy, I should inform you that the body of Anthony Yateman was found this morning near the college boathouse.
Mr. Yateman's dead?
Yes, I rather think that was implied by the use of the term the body. How did he die?
We're waiting for the post-mortem.
But your best guess would be...
I never guess, sir.
How about you, Sergeant?
Oh,
Sergeant Lewis is also waiting for the post-mortem. In the meantime, we'd like to have a look in Mr. Yateman's rooms. And do you know who the next of kin might be?
I fear I know very little about Mr. Anthony Yateman. He was loud, abrasive, opinionated, but his personal life was very private.
So you wouldn't call him a friend?
I didn't actually like the man. Is that a terrible thing to say when the body isn't even cold? At least I assume it isn't cold. When did he die?
We can't be sure until the pathologist tells us. When did he leave the hall?
I saw him drinking in the senior common room just after midnight, which is when I went to bed.
Who was he with, sir?
No one. as far as I remember. He was pouring himself a large brandy, but not actually talking to any of the dons. He preferred the company of undergraduates.
Isn't that rather unusual?
I'm afraid poor Yateman never really grew up. He loved his time as a student here, and he couldn't even think about working anywhere else. Oh, look at the time. I really have to go. The porters will give you the relevant keys.
You understand, if this turns out to be a murder inquiry, we will have to talk to you again, and to most of the college.
So it's not a murder inquiry just yet?
Nope.
But you think it will be?
I'll let you know, Master.
There's something about clever people that makes me behave like I'm stupid, even though I'm not.
No, of course you're not.
Morse? Morse!
Good morning. How are you feeling?
Never mind me, I just said about Yateman. Hello, we haven't met. I'm Jessica Hinckley.
Detective Sergeant Lewis. You two know each other?
Oh, yes, we...
Dr. Hinckley and I met at the Oxford Chess Club. Who told you about Yateman?
I was supposed to be seeing the master this morning. He just rang to cancel. I asked why, and he told me what happened.
We don't actually know what happened.
An accident?
Possibly.
There's anything I can do.
Why don't you come with us to Yateman's rooms? We're just getting the keys.
Quite a fuss when he got these rooms. You'll see the view from his study and the size of his bedroom.
But he was quite senior, wasn't he?
He pushed very hard to get the admissions job, which is really just a load of admin. But there are quite a few dons with a greater claim to this staircase.
Did he have enemies in college?
Well, show me a fellow who doesn't have enemies in college.
I got a sense from the master that Yateman was rather unlikable.
I told you he was a dreadful snob. He banged on and on about college traditions, but really, he just wanted to fill the place with boys from the right schools. He was dead against having girls from anywhere. He hated being forced to take students from grammar schools, let alone comprehensives.
And this is where he lived? No other property in town or out of town?
He slept here, he ate in hall every night, ate in the buttery every lunchtime. He liked to drink beer with the hearties, pretend he was still an undergrad. Sad, really. What are you looking for?
Just seeing if anything jumps out.
Something like this, sir.
What have you got?
Photographs. A young man with a beard.
Show me. Oh. Now, this, if I'm not mistaken, is the chap who got into trouble at the feast. Am I right?
Yes. That's David Evans. Why would Yateman have photos of him?
Coming out of college, crossing St Giles, going into Blackwell's.
All of them snapped without Evans being aware, judging by the fact he's not posing, and they're all a bit blurred. Was Yateman a keen photographer?
I never saw him with a camera.
Do you want me to take the place apart, sir?
Not yet, Lewis. For now, let's just have a quiet word with this David Evans. Does he have rooms in college?
I think so. But you'd have to ask the porters. Honestly, I know virtually nothing about the boy.
You won't say anything to anyone about these photos?
Of course not, Morse. You can trust me.
To be honest, I was a bit surprised you let her come with us. In the victim's room. She might turn out to be a suspect.
I was with Dr. Hinckley till 3 o'clock this morning.
Oh, yeah?
We were talking, Lewis, discussing Wittgenstein.
If you say so, sir.
We had a few drinks. When I left, Dr. Hinckley was barely able to stand, let alone drown a man in the charwell. And we still don't know if Yateman was drowned. When's the post-mortem?
About 4 o'clock.
You won't need me then.
If you've got something better to do?
I'm sure I'll find something.
She's an attractive woman.
Is she?
You're not saying you hadn't noticed?
I'm not saying anything, Lewis. Mr. Evans! Mr. Evans, it's the police. Can you open the door, please?
Yes.
I'm Chief Inspector Morse, Thames Valley Police.
Detective Sergeant
I was
Lewis.
hoping for a word with David Evans.
Sorry.
Sorry that he's not here, or sorry that you're not going to let us in?
Bit of both, mate.
Let's get this clear. I am not your mate, and if you
We just want
don't
to
let
ask
us
Mr. Evans a couple of questions, then we'll be on our way. He's not in any trouble.
Come on, Vic, let's sort this out. I'm David Evans. What do you want?
What happened to your face?
I caught myself shaving.
You shaved off your own beard?
Yes.
Using a very blunt razor, by the looks of it. I mean, you do seem to have made a bit of a mess.
No law against that, mate. And I am reading jurisprudence, so I know that's true.
Your face isn't in perfect condition either, Mr...
Nelson.
Have you been assaulted, Mr. Nelson?
No.
No one hit you? I'm just wondering why your cheek appears to be bruised.
It isn't.
No?
No.
Well, why don't we leave it there? Come on, Lewis.
Oh, but sir,
These gentlemen have essays to write, I'm sure. Thank you for your time, Mr. Evans, Mr. Nelson.
Sir, he didn't ask.
Leave it, Lewis.
Why did they come here?
God knows.
Yes, Lewis, I realise it was Evans who had his beard shaved off in the college boathouse, but he wasn't going to admit it, was he?
No,
And there was no point trying to make either of those two tell us anything when they were both so hostile.
I didn't like the older bloke. Bolshy bugger.
Find out what you can about both men.
Nelson, was it?
Vic Nelson, David Evans. Before you do anything, let's be certain we're dealing with a murder. Go to the post-mortem and report back to me as soon as you can.
Where are you off to, sir?
HQ. Some urgent paperwork.
Oh, urgent, is it?
Yes, Lewis. Vital. My compliments to Dr. Russell.
Morse, how can you sleep through that din?
I'm not asleep, sir. Thinking.
Can you turn it off, matey? I just got off the phone. Do you want to know who I was talking to?
I assumed you were about to tell me, sir.
The Deputy Chief Constable, Peter Welbeck, QPM, though quite why he got that medal is anyone's guess.
Yes, sir.
After 10 minutes of small talk, golf, rugby, lodge business, he got to the point of the call.
Oh, good.
Anthony Yateman.
What about him?
He's the dead man found in the shallows.
That's right.
Murdered?
I'm about to be told by Sergeant Lewis, sir.
According to the Deputy Chief Constable, it was a tragic accident.
I don't understand.
Well, the DCC wants you to treat this as an accidental death, or a suicide if you have to, but not, repeat, not a murder.
Even if it is?
Especially if it is.
I see. Or rather, I don't.
Someone's putting pressure on the Chief Constable, who's putting pressure on the DCC, who's putting pressure on me to make this crime, if it is a crime, disappear.
And now you're putting pressure on me, sir?
No, Morse. I don't like being told what to do. I want you to find out what actually happened.
You'd like me to approach the death with an open mind and investigate it to the best of my ability.
Exactly.
Which I would have done anyway had you not told me about the phone call.
Yes.
Which begs the question, why tell me about the phone call?
Just do your job, Morse. Pretend I wasn't here.
I always do, sir. Ah, Lewis. Mine's a pint of Breakspear. This one's nearly finished.
Sorry, sir. Not got time for a drink. Val's out tonight. Tupperware. And I promised I'd be back by 6:30.
Tupperware?
Well, she goes out to her friend's house. There's a few other women there. They have some drinks.
Actually,
and...
Lewis, I really don't care. Tell me about the post-mortem.
Oh, OK, then. All this to come in Dr. Russell's formal report, but basically...
Oh, don't say basically if you mean to summarise.
To summarise... Cause of death was drowning. There are some faint marks on Yateman's neck and head which could indicate foul play, but it's too inconclusive to point to a definite murder. Yateman's blood alcohol level was 3 times the drink-drive limit, so he might have just collapsed and passed out.
With his face underwater?
Possibly.
Any bruising to his hands, his knuckles?
Nope.
No. So he didn't punch anyone in the face before he drowned?
Someone like Vic Nelson.
The Bolshevik, yes.
Yateman's hands were unblemished, according to Dr. Russell, but his trousers were damaged.
Damaged? In what way?
All the buttons on his flies had been ripped off.
Are we talking about a sexual assault?
No sign of anything like that, sir, but Dr. Russell noticed the missing buttons and thought you'd like to know.
But she thinks most likely just an accident.
She's got no reason to think otherwise.
Pity.
I'd better head off, sir, if that's okay with you. I'll see you tomorrow, then.
Yes. Oh, just one thing, Lewis.
Sir?
Can you tell them to turn the music off?
I wish you were here, Mum. I keep thinking, was it my fault? But I did my best. Trouble was, he was never in his room. I looked for him everywhere. I thought maybe he'd guessed who I was, but I couldn't give up. Not till it was over.
Morning, sir.
Morning.
What's this?
Till Eulenspiegel by Richard Strauss, a tone
No,
poem.
I'm sitting on something. Empty bottle?
Just chuck it on the back seat and put your belt on, Lewis. Looking forward to another day in academia?
Not really.
Why not? Chance to interrogate some of the finest minds in Oxford, ergo, some of the finest minds in the world.
That'll be too posh for me, sir.
Too posh, please. Don't equate intelligence with class, Lewis.
They make me feel uncomfortable, all them dons and professors.
You may not be as bright as some of the fellows, but you have every right to ask anyone whatever questions spring to mind.
I'd rather stick to the porters and the scouts. To be honest, I find them more interesting.
I've been the head porter for 15 years now. I tell a lie. It's 14 years. It'll be 15 years on January the 5th. Started off as a night porter, 2 years doing that, then I moved up to the...
Can I ask you some questions about Mr. Yateman?
Mr. Yateman?
You heard he, passed away?
Oh, yes. We porters hear about everything. We've always got our fingers on the pulse, especially when it comes to anyone who's dead.
I've never had to deal with the sudden death of a colleague before, Chief Inspector. Milk and sugar?
Yes, please. 2 sugars. Do you think anyone in college would have wanted to kill Anthony Yateman?
No.
But he was unpopular.
Was he?
Well, you said you didn't like him.
I hardly think my individual attitude defines his overall level of popularity.
You also said he preferred the company of undergraduates to that of the other dons.
Did I?
Can you point me towards anyone in college who Yateman might have called a friend?
I'm afraid I can't.
Because he had no friends, or because you don't know?
The latter.
I see. What can you tell me about a student called David Evans?
I can tell you I've never heard of him.
Really? He's a member of your college?
There are nearly 600 undergraduates enrolled at St. Joseph's, Chief Inspector. You can't possibly expect me to know all of them. I doubt I've even met this David Evans. If you want me to find out something specific, I could ask my secretary to make inquiries, but I really am far too busy to get involved any further with this investigation of yours. Now, if you finish your coffee...
According to the Deputy Chief Constable, it was a tragic accident.
I don't understand.
Well, the DCC wants you to treat this as an accidental death. Or a suicide if you have to, but not, repeat, not a murder.
Even if it is?
Especially if it is.
I see.
Who's this gone see?
Evans, Master.
David Evans. Then no, this can't happen.
Too late, I think.
Go and stop it, Anthony.
What
now.
can you tell me about a student called David Evans?
I can tell you, I've never heard of him.
Really? He's a member of your college?
I doubt I've even met this David Evans.
David Evans? Little shit.
Why'd you say that?
I clean up after students. I've cleaned up after students long as I can remember, and I never complain.
That's true. Even when she found
But
missing.
I'm not going to pretend there's some young men who shouldn't be here. Some just don't know how to behave. And David Evans, one of the worst.
In what way?
The way he talks to me. When he talks to me.
You could say he was shy, but I just call him ignorant.
And the bloke he lives with's no better.
No, Mr. Nelson.
Nelson looks after Evans like he's a child. But he never tells him to wash up or clean the lavatory. Oh, state of it sometimes. Disgusting.
He's a very rude man, that Mr.
A
Nelson.
very rude man. Gave me a mouthful last week when I found that girl outside their door.
What girl?
One of the catering staff. Is it Alice? No, Annie.
No. And she was outside their door?
Waiting for Evans at the bottom of his staircase. She was crying. I asked her why. She said Nelson wouldn't let her inside.
It's not for me to pry or gossip, but there's something suspicious going on with them three.
According to the Deputy Chief Constable, it was a tragic accident.
I don't understand.
Well, the DCC wants you to treat this as an accidental death. Or a suicide if you have to, but not, repeat, not a murder.
Even if it is?
Especially if it is.
I see.
Let it run. Big effort, last 10.
Constable, why are these students traipsing all over my crime scene? Where's the tape gone?
Sorry, sir. I was told the investigation is over.
It is not over. Not until I tell you.
You know you're in the way.
I beg your pardon?
We're about to launch our boat, and you are going to get knocked over unless you shift yourself.
Yeah, Constable, did you allow these students into the boathouse?
Well, the duty inspector told me to open it up.
Are you going to move? We're late for training.
There will be no training, not today.
Oh, come off it.
A man was killed here last night. I'm still looking for evidence.
Oh, you're a copper too, are you?
I'm a chief inspector. And you are?
I am an undergraduate.
I meant, what's your name?
Unsworth. UNS.
What's the hold-up, Eddie?
Sorry, Greg, as these plods are being a little obstructive.
Tell them to piss off.
I wouldn't recommend that, sir. Constable, close the boathouse door, make sure it's locked.
Yes, sir.
Now, look here.
No, Mr. Unsworth, I will not look here, and you will not take a boat out on the river. Instead, you will return to your college, where I will interview you and the rest of your crew about your movements last night.
My movements?
You were seen leaving the college just after midnight. Did you come here?
I'm not really sure what I did last night.
Little bit drunk, Eddie was.
Did you come here, Mr...
Gregson. I honestly can't remember. Bit drunk as well. We all were. Can't even remember who was driving the van.
Oh, don't say that, you idiot.
The minibus, over there. Does it belong to the college?
If you look very closely, you'll see it's got the St. Joseph's crest on both sides.
Bit of a clue, Inspector.
Constable.
Sir?
We're impounding that minibus.
Where you are, sir?
Hang on a minute. We need the van to drop everyone off after training.
As I just explained, there will be no training today, and you can walk back to your rooms. Now, you said someone drove the minibus here last night.
No, I said I can't remember what happened last night.
There were tyre marks in the mud over there. It'll be easy to check if that particular vehicle was here or not.
Then why do you need to take it away?
I want a good look inside. Was Mr. Yateman with you last night?
No idea.
What about David Evans?
Who?
He's an undergraduate at St. Joseph's. You tried to make him drink from a large tankard in Hall.
Oh, The chap who turned up late?
In jeans.
With a beard?
Yeah, he doesn't have a beard anymore.
Doesn't he?
Are you responsible for forcibly shaving off his beard? We know it happened in the boathouse. Was it you and the rest of the crew, Mr. Unsworth?
I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say this, but I really can't remember a thing about last night, Inspector.
Same here.
I wonder if your memories might improve if I interviewed you at police headquarters.
If you're threatening to arrest us, you better have extremely good grounds for detention.
Eddie's father is a High Court judge, do you see?
He'd eat you for breakfast.
So do be careful.
All locked up, sir. Did you want me to drive the minibus away now?
No.
Very sensible.
Put out a call on your radio, get someone else down here to do the driving. You watch the boathouse, no one goes in or out.
Yes, sir.
Who's got the keys to the minibus?
The keys?
And before you tell me you don't know, I should warn you that everyone present will be strip-searched unless the keys are handed to this officer within the next 60 seconds. Clear?
I suppose so, Inspector.
Non-relinquite locum.
Listening to Beethoven, Lewis?
Oh, hello, sir. I didn't like to change the channel just in case it was important.
I'm not sure it matters which station Yateman's wireless was tuned to. Anything interesting in his paperwork?
Lots of files on students, all their A-level results, reports about their interviews, and he kept a diary. But some of it's written in Latin or Greek.
Show me. Non-relinquit locum. He never leaves his room. Et ipse est in nullo. He spoke to no one.
He? Who's that then?
I'll need some time to translate the rest of this.
If you want a dictionary, there's probably one here.
I think I'll manage without, Lewis.
I was looking for files on Evans and Nelson, but there's nothing on either one of them.
Well, they're both in their first term. Is there a separate filing cabinet for new undergrads?
Not that I can see. There's students from every year in the cabinet by the door, alphabetical order, but no Evans or Nelson.
Yes?
Mr. Yateman?
No. Who are you?
Quentin Spencer. I have an appointment with Anthony Yateman. I'm afraid I'm a little late.
Not as late as Mr. Yateman. He's dead.
What?
He drowned in the Charwell last night. Why have you come to see him?
I'm sure why on earth I should tell you. I don't even know who you are.
I'm a police officer, Chief Inspector Morse, so I think you should tell me, sir.
Do you mind if I sit down? It's all a bit of a shock.
Why don't you go outside, get some fresh air?
But not before you've told us why you're here.
Yes, okay. I'm a journalist. Yateman said he got a story, but he'd only talk to me face to face. Are you sure I can't sit down?
You look as if you could do with a drink. Lewis, stay here and find those files I mentioned. Mr. Spencer and I will be in the pub.
Which ones, sir? In case I need you.
The King's Head. Come along, Mr. Spencer. They'll be open by the time we get there.
Oh, thanks very much.
Quite sure you want lager?
I've never been fond of real ale.
Your loss. Cheers. You said you're a journalist.
Freelance. Based in London. Yateman telephoned last week. Said I definitely want to write something about a scandal at the college, and we arranged to meet today.
A scandal? Did he give you any clues?
None. But he knows the sort of things I write about.
Which are?
Stories to make the retired colonels who read the Mail and the Telegraph choke on their cornflakes.
And why you? Was Yateman a fan of your work?
He told me he agreed with my point of view on immigration, law and order, crime and punishment.
And he wanted to tell you about something going on here, in his college.
He promised me I'd find it interesting. Do you think he was murdered?
I have no idea.
Am I in any danger myself?
Your guess is as good as mine, Mr. Spencer.
It's not very reassuring.
No, I suppose it is. Are you sure he didn't give you any hints about this scandal?
If I knew anything, Inspector, I'd promise I'd tell you.
Really? So, what now? Back to London?
Actually, I think I'll hang around Oxford. See if I can dig something up even without Yateman's help.
I can't let you back into his rooms.
But you'll tip me the wink if you find out exactly how he died, won't you?
I never tip anyone the wink, Mr. Spencer.
Right. Sip again?
Why not?
I looked for him everywhere. I thought maybe he'd guessed who I was, but I couldn't give up. Not till it was over.
David! David, are you in there?
For God's sake, just stop doing that, will you?
I want to see David.
He's not here.
Yes, he is.
You calling me a liar?
I heard him talking when I came up the stairs.
I was listening to the radio.
Just let me in.
No! I'm telling you, David's not here, and I'm trying to work, so off you go, little girl.
David! David!
If you don't leave right now, I'm calling the Porter's Lodge.
What is your problem? Why are you doing this?
You could have let her in.
You're not seeing anyone looking like that.
No one's going to recognise me.
I'm not taking the risk.
I'd be the one taking the risk.
It's my job on the line. I'm not chucking that away just so you can get your rocks off with a waitress.
What are you going to do, lock me in my room?
If I have to, yes.
Oh, come on, Vic.
No, you come on, David. Do as you're told, or I will report you.
Get me moved back to Scotland.
Maybe.
But then they'll move you on as well, and you wouldn't want that. So, actually, you're not going to report me for anything, are you?
While you were enjoying yourself in the pub...
I was working, Lewis.
I went through every drawer, every file, and there was nothing on Evans or Nelson.
Did you notice something odd about the older one, Nelson? Something familiar?
What, like you've met him before?
No, but his manner, his attitude. He was behaving like a policeman.
You reckon he's a copper?
Morse!
Oh, I think the super wants a word.
Oh, God.
Maybe don't breathe over him, sir. Not until you've had a couple of minutes. Afternoon, sir. Are you looking for us?
I've been summoned, Lewis. Summoned to the Chief Constable's office.
Is this to do with the late Mr. Yateman?
It's to do with the journalist who doorstepped the Master of St. Joseph's straight after lunch and demanded a quote about the assassination of one of his dons. I don't suppose you know anything about this journalist?
News to me, sir.
Lewis?
I haven't spoken to the press myself, sir.
Well, keep it that way. And wish me luck.
Good luck, sir.
But I thought you might have some influence with the Chief Inspector.
I'm not sure anyone has any influence with Morse. He's very much his own man.
Is there nothing you can say to make him wrap up his investigation?
Would you like some more wine, sir?
What? Oh, yes, just a little. No, don't pick up my glass. Honestly, the staff we employ these days.
The trouble is, Master, if there is a murderer out there, Morse won't stop until he's found him.
Stupid.
I'm sorry, sorry. It's just an accident.
Fetch it, clean that. No, in fact, get a towel, will you?
Sorry, I really am sorry.
It's all right.
David, it's me, David.
Annie, what's wrong?
Please, let me in.
What's happened?
I've got to talk to you.
If Vic finds you, then...
Where's he gone?
To fetch some food.
Then let me in, quickly.
I thought I told you to stay away from here.
Can't you see the girl's upset?
I don't care.
Oh, give us a break. I just need to talk to him.
You're not listening. I'm telling you to piss off. Now!
For Christ's sake, Vic, she's hurt.
Leave her, she's fine.
There was no need for you to do that.
Back inside. Move it!
Well then, Annie. Hey, this is getting to be a bit of a habit, don't you think?
Leave me alone.
Well, I would do, my love, but I don't like to see the catering staff blubbing in the college. Doesn't look too good, does it?
I don't care how it looks.
Yeah, maybe you don't. I'm the one who gets it in the neck if standards start slipping. The master wants a happy ship. You don't look too happy to me.
Please, just go.
Not till you tell me what's happened. Why are you crying?
It's none of your business.
Oh, you know your knee's bleeding. Did you fall down the stairs?
No.
You did, didn't you? Someone push you?
No.
Annie.
No one pushed me.
I can call the police.
Don't call the police.
It's no trouble.
Do not call the police.
All right. I get the message. Come on.
Get you up. Who are you seeing up there? Was it Mr. Evans? Mr. Nelson?
Nelson's a nutter.
I'm not a fan myself. Not sure I...
He's a psycho.
Did he hurt you?
He pushed me down the stairs.
Well, that's not on. I'll go and have a word.
No.
What if he assaulted
I don't want you to do anything.
I can't have my undergraduates hurting members of my catering staff. They have to pay a hefty fine if they want to do that sort of thing, eh?
He'll get what's coming to him. One of these days.
Will he, though?
I'll make sure he does.
He is a queer one, that Mr. Nelson. Don't you think?
How do you mean?
The way he speaks to Mr. Evans, he's not his dad, but he talks like he is. Unless there's something else going on.
Something else?
Well, you know. Oh, maybe you don't. You're very young. Very innocent.
Is that what you think?
Come on, my love. I'll walk you home. Where are you staying?
None of your business.
Is it the college dorm?
Why are you asking all these questions?
I'm trying to help.
Don't bother. Just leave me alone.
I will leave you alone if that's what you want. Oh, good evening, Dr. Hinckley. Dr. Hinckley!
You miserable cow.
Sorry to get you out so late, Morse.
Don't be silly. Happy to see you at any time. Sit over here. Excuse us. Thank you. Cheers.
Yes.
You okay? Something happened with the professorship?
Not yet. Can you stop looking into the Yateman business? Just close the file. Let it go.
Now, why on earth would you ask me to do something like that?
You'd be helping me. And I'd be very grateful.
Has someone been talking to you? Was it the master?
He said he'd look more favourably on my application if I managed to steer you away from any embarrassing conclusions. The other night, you made it pretty clear where you hoped our friendship was going. Don't just tell me you have feelings. Prove it. What? Say something.
Last orders, please. Last orders, ladies and gentlemen. Last orders.
It was all going wrong, Mum. There was this dead professor, and the police were trying to find out who killed him. I could have told them, but then I'd have missed my chance to get the bastard myself. So I kept quiet, and I waited. One more day, I thought. One more day.
Hey, Stuart! Can you stop that? I'm getting gassed over here.
Sorry, Sarge! Right, Lewis, what have you got?
Oh, morning, sir.
Yes, good morning. Tell me about the minibus.
Well, these tyres definitely made the tracks by the boathouse, so this vehicle was driven near where Yateman's body was found.
Any evidence of Yateman being in the back of the minibus, either before or after he died?
There was nothing much inside the vehicle.
Any beard clippings?
Nope.
No? Blood?
Don't think so.
Well, what did the forensic chaps have to say?
That's the problem, sir. We weren't allowed any forensic chaps.
What?
According to the duty inspector, he's been told not to assign any support services for anything to do with this case.
On the authority of whom?
The chief constable.
So, it's just you and me, is it?
Pretty much, sir. And I think we're going to be told to wrap things up any minute now.
Not yet, Lewis. What did you find in the back of the minibus without the help of any support services?
Apart from an empty bottle of champagne and a bit of mud, there was nothing.
A bit of mud?
It looked like there'd been quite a few passengers with muddy boots, but it was used yesterday morning to take the rowers from the college to the boathouse. So we can't tell exactly who was in it the night Yateman died.
Well, let's assume the undergrads I saw in St. Joseph's Quad all piled into the minibus and drove out to the river that night. Did Yateman go with them? Was David Evans on board?
Well, you tell me, sir. You saw the students.
It was dark. I couldn't make them out from where I was watching.
And you'd had a few drinks?
That's immaterial, Lewis. The point is, we need to get the truth from the rowers. Who was in the boathouse that night? How did Yateman end up with his face in the river?
Shall I give him back the minibus?
No. No, let's keep it for a few days. Do them good to walk.
Right you are, sir. Oh, by the way, I rang up the personnel department, asked if there was an officer called Vic Nelson working for Thames Valley.
And?
It took them a while to check. They kept transferring me to different people. Then they said they'd ring me back. Anyway, eventually, they told me they'd never heard of anyone by that name. So then I tried the Met.
Please, get to the point, Lewis.
OK, the point, sir, is that they told me straight away. No one called Vic Nelson is employed by the Metropolitan Police.
So you drew a blank?
Or did I?
Well, you just said...
They gave me the answer in 5 seconds flat. They didn't ask for a date of birth, middle name, address, description, nothing. They were too quick to tell me they'd never heard of the bloke.
Which makes you think he is a copper?
Yes, sir.
Very good, Lewis. Possibly wrong, but impressive nonetheless.
Oh, thank you, sir. Did you finish translating the diary, sir? Yateman's diary?
Didn't take long. He only started writing in Latin at the beginning of term.
Any clues?
No, just constant sniping at the interloper. Hook non-pertinent. But no actual name or relevant accusation.
Well, that's a shame.
Yes. Have you noticed anything peculiar, Lewis?
About the music?
About the journey.
You're going a bit fast, but I'm used to that.
You haven't spotted the car that's been following us ever since we left Kidlington?
Ford Escort?
I've been speeding up, slowing down, overtaking when I shouldn't.
Yeah, I did notice that.
But the Escort's always kept 20 yards behind me. Can you see the driver?
Not really.
I think we'll have a word.
He's pulling over and all.
Hello!
Mr. Spencer, am I right in thinking you were following us?
I was just wondering where your investigation might be taking you.
You could have called me on the telephone.
Would you have told me anything?
No.
Which is why I thought I'd tag along.
Without my permission?
You're a reasonable man. I'm sure we can come to some sort of arrangement.
You must be joking. Just bugger off and keep...
Lewis. There's a mature student at St. Joseph's. Name of Vic Nelson. We think he might be a police officer.
Sir, go on.
I imagine you have contacts in the Met.
I know some coppers who are happy to swap information for cash.
Ask them about Nelson. Is he a serving police officer? Which department? What's he doing at Oxford?
And if I find out anything of interest, what's in it for me?
If I discover what Yateman's scandal is, I'll give you the story first.
Then you've got yourself a deal.
Good. Now stop following us and get on the phone to your contacts. Come on, Lewis.
Yes, sir. You're not serious about giving him the story?
Of course not. If he believes that, the man's a bigger fool than I thought.
One more day, I thought. One more day.
I'm sorry, sir, but the college is closed to visitors.
What do you mean, closed?
I mean, it's not open.
Why the hell not?
So the fellows and their students can get on with their studies undisturbed by the likes of you, sir. Ah, Mr. Morse, back again.
I'm afraid so.
And Mr. Lewis?
Hello.
We need a word with some of your undergraduates, the entire rowing crew, to be specific.
I'm not sure that's going to be possible, sir.
Oh, why not?
Orders from the master. You're to report to his lodge straight away.
Really? That sounds as if the master thinks he's in charge.
When it comes to this college, he is in charge.
If it keeps him happy, we'll pop along and say hello. Lewis.
So how come they're allowed in?
They're police officers, sir. They think they can go where they like. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to make a phone call.
We're not going to see the master, are we?
I may give him 5 minutes at the end of the day. First, I'll ask Dr. Hinckley where I can find the rowing captain, Unsworth. I know she teaches him philosophy. In the meantime, you concentrate on Nelson and Evans. Talk to their scout again, see if you can get a key and search their rooms.
What am I looking for?
Clues, Lewis. And before you ask, no, I don't know what sort of clues. Just do your best.
Where will I find you?
Let's meet at 1 o'clock. King's Head.
Where else?
So we have two questions. What can we know, and what is there? According to Plato, are these questions related? Think about the connection between Plato's epistemology and his metaphysics. Am I keeping you awake, Mr. Unsworth?
Sorry, Dr. Hinckley. Bit of a late night. Brain's not really working just yet.
I'm not sure it's been functioning for quite some time.
Look, we both know I'm not here to learn philosophy. I'm here to row for the college.
So what's the point in studying Plato?
Now, that's a bloody good question.
Oh, for heaven's sake, yes!
Sorry to disturb you, Well, what a coincidence. I was just about to ask Dr. Hinckley where I could find you, Mr. Unsworth, and here you are.
We're in the middle of a tutorial, Morse. Can this wait?
Actually, no. I need to speak to this gentleman and the rest of his crew before the end of the day. Otherwise, I might start arresting people. I'm in that kind of mood.
You can't arrest me.
As one of Dr. Hinckley's philosophy students, you should realise that I can disprove your last assertion by the simple act of placing you under arrest.
Oh, come on.
I want to know what happened on the night of Mr. Yateman's death. When you left college, who was with you?
I can't...
Do not say I can't remember.
But that's the truth.
No, your words are false. False words are not only evil in themselves, they infect the soul with evil, according to Plato.
You think you're really clever, don't you?
He is really clever, Edward. He won an exhibition to Lonsdale.
But look at him now. Boring little copper.
Boring little copper who's running out of patience. Did you take David Evans to the boathouse? Did you shave him there as some kind of punishment? Was Yateman with you?
I can't allow this, Morse. I asked you to let it go.
And I said I wouldn't.
Chief Inspector Morse, I was told you were heading in this direction.
Your spies were correct.
And yet you'd been asked to come and see me first.
There seems to be some confusion over the amount of authority you hold over me. Just to clarify, it's...
You're in my college, Morse.
Your college from which one of your fellows died.
But you don't know that he was murdered.
I won't know anything until I've completed my inquiries.
Think of Meno's paradox. If you know what you're looking for, inquiry is unnecessary. If you don't know what you're looking for, inquiry is impossible. Therefore, inquiry is either unnecessary or impossible.
He's got you there. Oh, you understood that bit of Socratic dialogue, did you?
At last we're making progress, Mr. Unsworth.
I think we should talk in private, Chief Inspector. Dr. Hinckley, will you take Mr. Unsworth away, buy him a coffee in the buttery?
Don't leave the college, and I want the names of everyone who was in the boathouse when Yateman died. No more messing about.
Do as the officer requests, please.
But I keep
telling you. Do it.
Come along. We can finish off Plato and move on to Aristotle.
Oh, what joy.
I'm surprised your superiors haven't asked you to terminate your investigation.
I don't have superiors, merely officers of a higher rank.
Semantics at a time like this.
A time like what?
You're on the edge of a dilemma. Should you do as requested, back away, save your career? Or should you risk everything for the sake of blaming someone for what might well have been an unfortunate accident?
If you know what happened to Mr. Yateman...
Of course I don't know. I wasn't there. My point is, you'll do more harm than good if you continue to look for a murderer. I see Dr. Hinckley's been teaching the Tractatus. Read it yourself?
Yes. According to Wittgenstein, the world is the totality of facts, not things. I would like some facts. Please.
It's very difficult for me to help you. I honestly can't tell you anything, but... You are running the risk of exposing a situation that I have promised to keep a secret.
What situation?
If I told you, it would no longer be a secret.
I can be discreet.
Is that why you sent a hack like Spencer to sniff around the senior common room?
I don't have to tell Spencer anything else, but you, Master, have a legal, moral obligation to tell me everything you possibly can. The option to keep your mouth shut does not exist.
Oh, remember your Wittgenstein, Chief Inspector. Wovon man nicht sprechen kann, darüber muss man schweigen. It means...
Whereof one cannot speak, therefore one must be silent.
Something to think about?
Sorry, sir. Mr. Spencer found me, insisted on joining us.
That's fine, Lewis. Pull up a chair. When you've bought me a pint of best bitter.
I'll have half a lager. Thanks very much.
You can buy your own drink.
Don't be like that, Lewis.
Well, it should be your money.
Yes, love. What can I get you?
Pint of best, half a lager and a single.
What news about Vic Nelson?
I've asked a couple of coppers who are normally pretty helpful. Ring them back in a minute, see what they've got. Is there a phone in here?
On the bar, far end.
They've been asking about you as well, Chief Inspector. You're an interesting character.
Am I?
You were a student here at Lonsdale College, reading classics?
Many years ago.
But you didn't finish the course. You started with a scholarship.
An exhibition.
But you ended up with nothing.
I didn't get a degree, but I learned a few things.
I was up at Cambridge myself, Trinity Hall. Got a 2-2 in English.
Good for you.
No big deal. Practically everyone from my school went to Oxbridge.
Let me guess. A public school populated by posh boys like yourself.
Do you have something against posh boys, Mr. Morse?
I have something against people who feel they can take whatever they want without having to make an effort. I have something against people who think it's their God-given right to run the world according to their rules, just because Mummy and Daddy had enough money to send them to the sort of school that gets stupid children accepted by a university that ought to know better.
What's going on, sir? The old pub can hear you.
Good.
I think I touched a nerve.
Well, maybe don't touch it again. Here's your lager. You're bitter, sir.
Mr. Spencer, why don't you ring your police contacts? Now. Make yourself useful.
Very well. Go away.
Did you have a look in Nelson's room, Liz?
I couldn't. He and Evans were in there. Apparently, Evans hasn't been outside since Yateman died.
According to whom?
I was talking to their scout again, Hazel. She said Nelson wouldn't let her clean the rooms this morning, and there's been a girl making a fuss on their staircase.
What girl?
One of the catering staff calls herself Annie, but Hazel heard her on the phone today giving a different name.
I don't understand.
The girl rang someone and said, "Hello, it's me, Kelly."
Maybe that's her surname.
Not according to Hazel. On the catering rota, the girl's called Annie McBroom.
Kelly or Annie, you said she'd been making a fuss on the staircase.
Banging on Nelson's door in the middle of the night, crying, shouting, that kind of thing.
Ready for this? Detective Sergeant Victor Nelson is currently attached to a department of the Metropolitan Police called SO22.
Never heard of it.
They do undercover stuff. Funny little jobs that even my contact won't talk about.
Is that right? Finish your drink, Lewis. And let's have a word with DS Nelson.
I assume I can tag along.
You assume wrong. Stay here.
Oh, come on. Sit down, Mr. Spencer. Have another drink. But you'll have to buy it yourself.
But I couldn't give up. Not till it was over.
You need to eat something.
Not hungry.
I can make you something else.
Stop treating me like a baby.
I've got to look after you.
Oh, yeah? Like the other night?
I said I was sorry.
Where were you, Vic? Where'd you go?
Mr. Nelson, open up. It's the police.
Not again.
Let them in. We've got nothing to hide.
Are you trying to be funny? What the hell?
Sorry about the damage, sir.
I was going to open the door.
My sergeant will pay for any repairs.
No, I won't.
I gather you're also a detective sergeant, Mr. Nelson, in the Metropolitan Police.
I've got nothing to say.
Just tell them, Vic.
No.
Tell us what, sir?
He's my minder. He's here to look after me.
Why do you need a minder?
None of your business.
It's very much my business, since I'm investigating the death of one of the Dons.
What are you saying?
Mr. Yateman's dead. Didn't you know?
Vic, why didn't you tell me?
Because there's nothing to do with you.
After what he did?
Shut up!
No, don't shut up, Mr. Evans. Tell us what Yateman did.
I'm sorry, Chief Inspector, but it's my duty to warn you that this whole operation is classified, and neither you or your sergeant are clear to know anything about it.
I don't know what operation you're talking about. I just want to know what went on at the boathouse.
The rowing crew got me.
David, shut it!
They'd already tried to make me drink a pint of whiskey in Hall. I got away, hid for a while, but then they grabbed me on the staircase, pushed me in their van, took me to the river.
Was Yateman with the crew?
He turned up at the boathouse. It was his idea to shave my beard, said it was an appropriate punishment for looking like a tramp.
Did he do the shaving himself?
No. That was Unsworth and his mates. Yateman stood at the side, egging them on. But then they turned on Yateman.
Why?
I think they just found him annoying. He was so loud, laughing and bossing them around. So they pulled down his trousers and pushed him on the floor.
Did they push him into the river?
I don't think so. Last I saw, he was really pissed off. Ran outside, screaming at Unsworth, threatening all sorts of punishment.
Did Unsworth follow Yateman?
No. They let Yateman go, started messing around with me again, till Vic finally showed up.
Yeah, and I got David away from those wankers.
Ah, Sergeant Nelson, you've decided to help with my inquiries.
I carried David out the boathouse, told him to run. Then I stayed there, stopped anyone from going after him.
So did you see Yateman by the river?
No.
Could he have fallen into the water as soon as he came out of the boathouse?
No idea.
When did Unsworth and the rest of the crew come out?
Again, no idea. I just kept the door shut till I was sure David got away. Then I went after him.
No, you didn't.
What do you mean?
I ran over the bridge, hid behind a tree, waited. I heard the minibus leave. I heard the crew honking on the horn, shouting. But you never came over the bridge, Vic.
I don't understand. If Mr. Yateman had been lying in the water when the crew came out of the boathouse, they would have seen him there. They're a nasty bunch of hooray Henrys, but I don't believe they'd ignore a body in the river. Sergeant Nelson, did you find Yateman, take him back to the river, push his head under the water?
I was supposed to be protecting David.
Protecting David from what?
If I can't do my job right, they'll take me away.
Who will?
It was Yateman's idea to shave David's beard off. It was his stupid fault.
You didn't kill him, Vic. Tell me you didn't kill him.
Have you found your murderer, Inspector?
Who the hell
Get him out of here, Lewis.
You were told not to come.
I just want the story like I was promised.
You go, Spencer.
Victor Nelson, I'm arresting you for the murder of Anthony Yateman. You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defense.
Wait! Where's David?
Oh, he's heading downstairs.
Stop him!
What? I've got me hands full with this one.
Let me go!
No chance.
You've got to get him back.
What is so special about David Evans? What are you protecting him from?
Who's the sconsie?
Evans, Master.
David Evans. Then no, this can't happen.
Too late, I think.
Go and stop it, Anthony.
What
now.
can you tell me about a student called David Evans?
I can tell you, I've never heard of him.
Really? He's a member of your college?
I doubt I've even met this David Evans.
Oh, for God's sake, Annie. That's the second one this week.
I'm sorry. I'll get a brush.
Fetch another jug while you're there. Clumsy girl.
Mum, I thought my luck had changed when I walked into the college kitchen. And he was just standing there.
David, what are you doing?
I'm sorry, I didn't know where else to go.
Has something happened?
Yes.
Well, tell me.
I can't, I don't want to believe it.
Come here. You look terrible. I've wanted to hold you for so long.
Ever since you kissed me, I can't stop thinking about you.
And why didn't you come and see me?
Vic wouldn't let me. He's in trouble.
Well, I don't care about him. Let's just go.
I'm sorry, miss, but I need a word with your friend.
He's coming with me.
We're police and he's staying here.
It'll be all right, David. Don't do anything stupid.
I thought I'd missed my chance. But then I saw the knives. Long, sharp, just lying there. So I grabbed one.
Annie, what are you doing?
Don't be a bloody fool!
Put the knife down, miss.
You're hurting me!
I warned you, David. I told you to stay away from her.
Drop the knife now and let the boy go.
You don't know who he is.
His name is David Evans.
No, his name is Martin Dalgleish. Ring any bells?
No.
3 years ago, he was part of a gang in Glasgow. Murdered a boy called Billy Singleton. Found guilty, got locked up in Pullman. Supposed to be there now doing another 10 years, but look, here he is in Oxford.
Is this true?
I'm not allowed to tell you.
Did you know Billy Singleton? Was he a friend of yours?
He was my brother. My name's Kelly Singleton, and you, Martin Dalgleish, you really should have slept with me.
What?
I'd have told everyone you'd raped me, and they would have believed me. You'd have gone back to prison, but at least you'd be...
alive. Now I'm going to have to kill you.
Leave him!
Stuck the knife in his guts. Someone pulled me away. I stabbed him as well. I really tried to kill him. I promise. I really tried. I knew I'd go to prison, but I didn't care.
I thought you did well not to pass out, all that blood.
Don't talk about it, Lewis. Where is he?
Maybe in the room which PC Jarvis seems to be guarding, just a guess.
No need to be facetious.
All right, Derek.
Sarge.
Okay, if we have a word with the patient.
Be my guest.
I think he's asleep.
No. Sergeant Nelson, are you awake?
Well, I am now. How's David?
Do you mean Martin?
Sorry. Force of habit.
He's had quite a few stitches, but not as many as you.
The knife missed his main arteries.
Yeah, he's fine. That's all you need to know.
And the girl?
Under arrest. 2 counts of attempted murder.
How did she know Martin was in Oxford?
We're trying to figure that out, but most likely Mr. Yateman sent the Singleton family some photos of Martin. I think Yateman told them that one of Billy's killers was living the high life at an Oxford college.
How did Yateman know who Martin really was?
The master might have let it slip. I assume he knew all about you.
Yeah. But why would Yateman tell the Singleton family about Martin?
I imagine Yateman was unhappy that a convicted killer was getting an Oxford education.
There's quite a few other prisoners doing degrees around the country. The Prime Minister approves every case himself.
I don't think the readers of the Daily Mail will give any case their approval.
That's why it was supposed to be a secret. But now, I bet they shut the whole scheme down.
I bet they do.
He wasn't really a murderer, Martin. He was there when the boy was stabbed, but it wasn't him with the knife.
Joint enterprise.
He deserved a fresh start.
Did he? What about the dead boy, Billy Singleton? No Oxford education for him.
I'm glad I saved Martin from the girl. Did my job in the end.
What else did you do? Did you murder Anthony Yateman? When you're fit, we'll talk about that properly. Under caution.
I won't be saying any more about Yateman.
We know you killed him, and we'll prove it.
Can you call a nurse, please? I need more painkillers.
Well, whatever happens, that's the end of your undercover career.
Says who?
Says Quentin Spencer.
Who's he?
The journalist who came to your rooms. He's writing a story about the young Scottish murderer getting a degree at taxpayers' expense. I'm sure he'll spell your name correctly. He did go to Cambridge.
I'm sorry, Mum. I'm sorry. I have to go now. I guess someone will tell you where I am. Can you come and help me? Please. Love you.
Hello? Is that the Central Police Station in Oxford? I don't know if I've got the right number. My name's Singleton, Mrs. Mary Singleton, and I think you've arrested my daughter, Kelly. Strathclyde Police told me to ring you. They told me to stop ringing them. To tell you the truth, they weren't very nice, not very helpful at all. I need to get a message to Kelly. I want to tell her I'll come to Oxford as soon as I can, but I won't be able to leave my work till tomorrow morning. Is she all right? I'm sure she hasn't done anything bad. She's a good girl. You see, what you need to know, it was her brother, you see. That's my son. My son, he was murdered in the street, and it made us all go a wee bit crazy, and, well, it's not getting any easier even now. Not really. And Kelly took it awful hard, you see. So, if she has done something bad, it's not because she meant to. She just doesn't know what she's doing anymore. I'm sorry, I'm rambling on here, talking to a machine. daft article I am. I hope this is the right number. And I hope you're looking after Kelly. Please, take care of my wee girl. Take care of her. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Just leave me alone, will you?
Yeah, I will. In fact, I'm not even here. If anyone asks, you didn't see me, okay?
What do you want?
Just checking you're okay.
Why do you care?
I don't know. Your brother? You got me thinking. I can't talk about your case, about you, but I wanted you to know I do actually feel very sorry for you. You and your family.
Well, that makes everything okay then.
Get yourself a lawyer.
I don't need one.
Yes, you do. Be careful what you say.
I'll just tell the truth.
No, for God's sake, not the truth. Not if you want to get out of prison before you're 50.
Prison? You think I'm worried about prison?
I'm not sure you'll be able to handle it.
Piece of piss. In a couple of years, they'll send me to university. Where should I go? Oxford or Cambridge?
Annie, Kelly, whatever you want to call yourself, please, be careful.
My brother didn't deserve to die. You realise that, do you? He wasn't in a gang. Just walking down the wrong street, wrong time of night. Looked the wrong way at someone he never saw before in his life. They cut his throat. Left him bleeding in the gutter.
I'm sorry. Really sorry. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll interview you under caution with Chief Inspector Morse. He's a good man, Morse.
Good. What do you mean? Good at his job? Good as opposed to evil?
You're getting a bit philosophical.
Oh, sorry. Just getting ready for my degree course when I'm locked up in prison.
Remember, you have the right to remain silent.
As if that's going to help me now.
Oh. Hello?
Hello. Can I come in?
Yes, of course, come through.
Can you turn it down?
What?
Please turn it down.
Would you like a drink?
You were supposed to meet me in college. Did you forget?
I didn't think I'd be very welcome there.
You've done nothing wrong.
I'm pretty sure the Master would disagree with you.
Who cares what the Master thinks?
I imagine you do.
He's not giving me the associate professorship. Says there are better qualified applicants.
So, what now?
I'll find another college or another university.
Or get a proper job. I'm joking, of course.
No, you're not. Will I see you again?
I don't think so. We're very different, you and me.
You like to pretend you're different. But you're just the same as me. You're a snob, Morse.
No.
An intellectual snob. You try to behave like you're just another copper, but you're too clever to pass yourself off as ordinary. That's what I like about you. What I did like about you.
I'm sorry. There's nothing else I can say.
Morse, In the Shallows, was based on the characters created by Colin Dexter. Story by Alma Cullen, adapted by Richard Stoneman. Chief Inspector Morse was played by Neil Pearson. Detective Sergeant Lewis was Lee Ingleby. And Superintendent Strange was Pip Torrens. Dr. Jessica Hinckley was Anna Chancellor. Anthony Yakeman, Kevin Eldon. The Master, Anton Lesser. Annie was played by Ashley Smith, and Hazel was Rachel Atkins. Unsworth was Edward Killenback. Gregson, Harry Lister Smith. David Evans, Henry Pettigrew. Vic Nelson, Okorie Chukwu. And Quentin Spencer was Ben Crow. Morse, In the Shallows, was directed by Marilyn Imrie and is a Catherine Bailey production for BBC Radio.